Elm Logistics. For all your logistic needs, call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships.
You're brilliant, Rob, because now you're rolling into this next question. We're all well aware about the accusations against Vincent Kennedy McMahon by Janelle Grant. What are your thoughts about this case? Your personal thoughts. Obviously, you're not on the inside, or maybe you are. I'm not. But what are your thoughts about this case?
You're probably not going to believe me, but I don't know what you're referring to.
So there's a woman by the name of Janelle Grant.
Okay.
She was in a sexual relationship with Mr. McMahon. I guess it ended for whatever reason. Vince McMahon signed an NDA worth $3 million. Janelle Grant claims she stopped getting paid and then just told the whole story about Vince McMahon selling her out sexually, sex trafficking, some other really, really bad stuff. I guess
was she a wrestler? Was this a wrestler?
She was a woman down on her luck who happened to live in the same building as Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I don't know how that happened. And they ran into each other in a elevator, and Vince put her to work for the WWE, and they had a sexual relationship, and maybe not the normal sexual relationship that most of us human beings have, but nevertheless, it's a relationship they decided to have together. And they had a business agreement, and now she has gone against the NDA. And, Vince is no longer with the WWE. They sold out to Endeavor, and now they kicked Vince off the board. And it doesn't matter, he's whatever. But I guess my point is, you as a woman, you've been a famous wrestler, a very successful wrestler. Was there a casting couch situation in wrestling back in that day, or did you have to endure that at all?
No, I didn't, not at all. And I never saw anything. Now, again, I think, it was two completely different worlds that I saw. So growing up, and, with Moolah and her girls, and again, going back to the territories, how wrestling was from the beginning. I think that there were casting couches, you name it, it went on. But then for me, I know when I got to the WWF, like I said, it was a shock, because it wasn't the underbelly, it wasn't the dirty underbelly that the what wrestling used to be. It's now it's a real business, and no smoking inside the Coliseum, or you had to look presentable. So
let me ask you this question then. Yeah. Beautiful lady. You obviously have spoken of Mr. McMahon. Did Mr. McMahon ever make any kind of overtures towards you at any point throughout your career in the WWE?
No.
How did he treat you as a human being?
Fine. I with us, let's put it this way. I think maybe the whole time I was there, maybe I spoke with him 5 times. We would get to the arena, we would find our dressing room and wait until someone came in and said, okay, girls, do Broadway 10 minutes, or, go 15 minutes, go 10 minutes, go whatever. We'd always go 20, but, so there wasn't a lot of connection to the top. Let's put it that way. We were kind of taken around by the agents that worked for Vince, and I saw him occasionally, but no, there was no real I really never, and maybe I was naive. I don't know. Because I do know I was pretty stupid in my 20s, even up in my 30s.
I think we
Finally
all are.
finally started to get some sense around somewhere in the 40s. But anyway,
Robin.
Strong woman Robin is. And Robin, I hate to go back to the negative, but I have to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
You didn't know about Vince McMahon. I totally get that. And Missy Hyatt, you know Missy Hyatt, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Missy
Yeah.
Hyatt recently has come out and said that Vince McMahon fired her because she wouldn't have sex with him or something to that level. Do you think that this has gotten out of control with women making claims on men? I mean, it's only human nature, right? You're an attractive woman. I say, hey, Robin, I like you. Would you like to go on a date? No, you're a fat bald guy. Leave me alone. I'll come back a second time and say, you're beautiful. Give me a chance. You go, no, you smell. Leave me alone. And I should walk away. I get it. But are women now taking advantage of men in general? And how do you feel about Missy Hyatt after all these years coming out and making this claim? And by the way, she was on our show 2 years ago and said he was a great guy. Regardless, what are your thoughts as this strong, independent, and actually one of the greatest in her profession?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's out of hand. I think what two people choose to do is their business. I mean, the way I feel about it, and I honestly don't want to hear about it. If someone forced themselves on you, then yeah, scream your head off and tell whoever you can, and because that's behavior that doesn't stop with you. That's somebody, a guy who will do that, or for that matter, a woman who will do that. That's just, I guess, their nature. But I mean, we all go through stuff, and only they know the truth. I certainly don't. And if they're telling their truth, that's fine. But like all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And who I'm referring to.
Yes.
But that is just, it's such. Who cares? I don't care.
All right, but here's another tough one for you, okay? And again, if you don't like to answer the question, I'm saying this with respect, but I respect your opinion. Your brother, Jake, he came out after these Vince McMahon allegations, and I don't know if I'm quoting him verbatim, but that it was the most disgusting thing he's ever heard in his entire life. And personally, I felt like we all know the stories of Jake, and obviously Jake is well respected by a very large fan base, and he does have influence on people's thinking. And I thought to myself, wow, isn't that the, pot calling the kettle black? Maybe you should shut your mouth on this one, pal, considering all the things you do. I know he's your family member, and I'm not asking you to talk bad about him. That's not my point. My point is, do you feel that people need to shut their mouths, especially when they live in a glass house?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are just things that I feel like are nobody's business. It's like I don't want to know. I don't want to know who you share things with, and who you do your little whatever it is you do, who you do that with, what you like, what happened. That's I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. But on that same note, if it's something, if you've been traumatized, hurt, whatever, or brutalized, that's a different story. But no, I certainly think that it's not anybody's business who you sleep with, who you hang out with, who you do anything with, and like with everything that is going on today, it's the same thing with all the everybody wants their rights to live the way they want to live, which is great. Okay, live it, but that doesn't mean I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
live it the way you want to live it, as long as it's under my rules, not your rules, right? You can do what you want as long as I agree with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm happy for anybody who's happy. Do what makes you happy. But
Robin, do you think it'll ever?
expense.
Do you think? I'm sorry. Do you think that it'll ever change? Whether we finally start to pass laws that enforce that if accusers' accusations are discovered to be unfounded or exaggerated in a court of law, that the accuser himself has to serve a penalty in due time.
Or herself, Jimmy, or herself, right?
Yeah, himself or herself.
They should. They should. And the same. It's funny because I've had this conversation with a good friend of mine many times. Attorneys who throw out this bait to just to get just to mess with probable cause or mess with what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? That they'll suggest something. An attorney will suggest something in court that's totally untrue, by the way, about somebody, but it brings up it'll bring questions up in the minds of jurors that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To where
Mm-hmm.
to me, when they do that, and it's found not to be true, attorneys should go to jail for stuff like that. I mean, how? And I just don't understand why you can go in a courtroom and just throw something out there just to see if it sticks, just to throw people off, throw something out there, see if that sticks, and was never true, never had any evidence of what they're saying, that that should be penalized also. Like I said, an attorney should not be able to do that unless they can actually prove it. You shouldn't just be able to go in there and say it.
I love
just
it.
to give them something else to think about. So
I love it, Robin. I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's just I think that's part of a bigger problem. That you can say anything you want, and it's not about getting to the truth. It's just about getting this person off or getting that person off. Nobody's looking for the truth anymore.
Right.
And,
It's a very expensive game at the taxpayer's expense.
Yeah.